Okay, we're back, but we're in cinematic now. It looks much better. Much better. So, as I was saying, everybody has battles that they're facing and fighting. And what we knew as kids, but forgot as we got older, is that we could look at adults in our lives and we could say, there was some kind of spark that may have gone, there was some fire that was missing, and we wondered kind of like how that could possibly happen. Like, how could you get to a point where you forget the magic of your life? And the reality is now, if you sit in whatever age you're at, there's a high likelihood that you're doing things that don't directly align with your purpose, don't directly align with your soul, that don't light you up inside to your fullest. And that's the whole thing, right? Is that we enter into a game, and the game puts you into places where you don't really want to be, and that starts to wear down at your soul and your spirit. And that is what we see is, adults, or you and I, end up becoming sort of half awake, half conscious. And it's a complete tragedy. It's a complete tragedy that the fire that's in every single human being is being snuffed out by these bullshit routines that we get put into, this bullshit culture that enables us to forget our highest power, forget our purpose, and forget that we all contain a connection, a connected thread that is humanity. We're all humans, and we're all here for one purpose, and that is to live and explore, to connect, and to grow. And a lot of that creative potential that you and I have is getting stifled if we end up sitting in a place too long where we're not expressing it, we're not exploring it, where we're not feeling safe to actually share our gifts. And that's a huge key, is that most places, if you're in a corporate office, okay, and you love to do yoga, and you go into your corporate 9 to 5, and you try to kind of share about yoga to your director of accounting, do you feel held in that space? Do you feel understood? Do you feel like this person resonates with me? This person understands me? Probably not. You probably don't feel that excited to share that part of your life with your boss, with your directors, with even probably most of your coworkers if you're working in a position that compromises, right? We're all forced to make some kinds of compromise, right? At least that's what we've been conditioned to accept. And if you're in a situation where you're used to compromising, then you're also used to compromising on sharing your gifts. And so it never actually comes out to full fruition. And that's the saddest thing, because as that progresses, that just leads to a deadening of the soul, a snuffing of the spirit, the spiritual fire that keeps us excited and keeps us alive. There's certain people that you get around, they're so magnetic and they're so exciting to be around, they're so exciting to connect with, and you wonder why that is. It's because that person has maintained a connection, a tether to the ultimate reality that we live in, which is that there is a game that we're playing, right? This is all going to end. We're going to die, right? And that conditioned mind is going to be the thing that keeps kind of getting in the way. And the more conditioned your behaviors, the more conditioned your expressions, your speech patterns, etc., the harder it is going to be for you to resonate on a really human level with other people. So that's the thing, is that we don't have the spaces that we once did to really truly hone the gifts, right? It's up to you to actually find a place where you can feel safe, you can feel like you can be yourself, and where you can actually go out and share the things in your life that are the most meaning to you, but also the gifts that you've been given, right? Whether that's spiritual intuition, whether that's being really good at mechanics and building things, right? Whether that's cooking, whatever it is, right? If you were a great chef, you wouldn't want to be around a bunch of people that just eat fast food all the time, because they're not going to appreciate your gift, right? And you're going to try to tell them about these small portion sizes and these gourmet presentations and try to explain the nuances of flavor palettes. And you're going to present that to these people, and they're going to look at you and ask, yeah, man, so where's like the Wendy's double baconator with a side of a fry? I'd much prefer that. I'd much prefer a Whopper, the side of nuggets, and a Diet Coke. Don't do that to yourself, okay? That's the world we live in. We live in the Diet Coke society, okay? Where you go into a corporate office and you fucking have to snuff all of the things that matter to you. And you have to hide all your beliefs and you have to present yourself a certain way on social media. All because we've been told that we need to fit in. And the reality is, you don't need to fit in. And the more that you are yourself, the more you're going to be around that tribe of people that you do actually fit in with, right? And so that's my mission, right? I think that's been a mission I've been on, is to hone that life that leads to a place where I feel like I'm around the people that support me and nourish my spirit, the people that I feel engaged by, the people that inspire creativity. These are the situations that I seek out. And I still have battles. I still get fearful and scared. And, well, what if, it costs too much money? Or what if I don't actually like being there? Like, it all happens to me all the time, right? It's not like it's easy to go seek your highest purpose. That's the point, right? That's the hero's journey. You're supposed to go through hell and back. You're supposed to be uncertain. You're supposed to be at wit's end. And fearful and scared and lost, without a clue, without a paddle, fucking on a raft in the middle of the ocean, hoping that you can find some kind of salvation. And the human game is to not give up, right? Is to continue that pursuit. And that's what I've been on. It's been the ride of finding myself, the ride of finding the groove that you want to be in, right? The people, the vibe, the soul tribe, if you will. I had a great mushroom experience one time, and it revealed to me a very universal and important truth. And that was that I realized that the person I'm speaking through right now, Ryan, is kind of like a kid. He's kind of like a child. And there is a higher level of my own consciousness, which arguably plugs into some God consciousness a little higher than what I am right now. And that consciousness, which I was able to tap into, looked at Ryan and said, damn, Ryan, he's kind of like a little child. I'm kind of worried for him. He's going to fuck up a lot, and he's going to forget some of these lessons that I know right now. And one of the lessons, and I made sure to write this down. I was in a 4-hour meditation on a riverbank, sitting in a full lotus position with an erect spine on a rock for 4 hours. That's how powerful this one was. I took a moment to pause and write in my journal. And what I wrote was, we're all spirits here to play the game, right? We're all playing a game of spirits. And there's good spirits and bad spirits. There's ones that'll get you and there's ones that won't. And your purpose is to find your spirit tribe. Find those people who have also incarnated, who are also on earth, who are going to hold you down, right? And who have been with you through lifetimes, right? Through eons. And that's the beauty of this human game. The more you align with yourself, the more you attract and find those people that are going to bring that fire out of you. And that's your soul tribe. And then your whole purpose should be, how do I spend more time with my soul tribe? How do I build things with my soul tribe? How do I bring more of that beauty that my soul tribe brings out of me into the world? And that's how we create a much more beautiful life, not just for ourselves, but for all those around us. And that is the goal, right? To create a better world while living an amazing life in the process. And the problem with modern day capitalism is that, sure, we're pursuing individualistic living our best lives, but not creating a better world. We're clearly not creating a better world. And that's the problem, right? It has to be, how do I live my best life? How do I live a fulfilled life without taking away from the world, but to add more to it? How do I build upon the world in a way that is sustainable in a way that is going to bring value to many people, it is not going to lead to a long-term destruction, right? AKA sustainable. So very important and very nuanced and hard to nail down. So I think that that is something that it just excites me to no end to think about. How can I create that impact myself, right? And the lesson that always comes back is, if I want to create any kind of positive impact myself, I got to be able to lean on myself first. I got to be able to rely on myself first. I got to be able to know that I am living in alignment with myself. And that's the current battle, right? Are you in alignment with yourself? Are you acting to your best abilities to eat the way you want to eat, to consume media you want to consume, to spend time doing activities you want to do? And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that you should just be able to snap in and do it, but I think culture is playing a bit of a role in making us feel a little comfortable living these bullshit lives that aren't in alignment. And don't be fooled. You should be allowed to take a day and rest and chill and watch Netflix, whatever the hell makes you happy. The problem is that too much of that enablement kills your spirit. And that's what we want to avoid at all costs. And obviously we know the spirit, it's eternal, it's never going to go away, but don't allow that to be an excuse for you to not live your life right now, right? So I'm speaking all of this through my own experience and through things I'm dealing with right now, right? I'm battling this liver cleanse right now. I did not want to do this. It's been 5 days. I don't want to do this at all. It fucking sucks. I wanted to eat a ginormous meal tonight. Instead, I haven't eaten in 24 hours. Fuck, that's awful. I was so miserable like a few hours ago. And then I came to the gym. I talked to a family member. I came to the gym. I got in a sauna. And now I feel pretty good. And I know that I stayed in alignment, and that's why I feel good. My blood sugar is still 0, right? Every other piece is still the same. But I was able to stay in alignment through the demons that are coming at me. And don't get me wrong, demons are fucking real. Physical demons and spiritual demons. This shit is real, okay? And you got organisms, parasitic organisms that sit in your body, that deplete your life force, that take away from your essence. That's a life-sucking energy. That's a demonic energy, right? And there's spiritual energies that work that way as well. Do not be fooled. It's not bullshit. So you got to be ready to understand, like, if I am going to align myself with my highest good, I'm going to have to fight my darkest dark, my demons, like actual fucking demons. It might be physical. You might be vomiting. You might be shitting. You might be sick. You might have eczema. You might have acne. You might have depression, anxiety, all these things. And you're going to have to like really, really battle. And you're hearing me say this, and I got a smile on my face, and it makes you feel maybe that there hasn't been a battle. But I can assure you that if you're in the trenches and you're like still like eating fast food and drinking alcohol or smoking weed and you're fucking watching porn and nothing's going right, you're broke, you are in the battle still. You understand? Like, don't count yourself out because you're in the dark place, because we all have been in the dark place, and that's a part of the cycle. Okay? So don't forget that part. It's easy to forget that part when you're in that part. Just remember that if you're in the darkness, you're in the cycle that brings you back to the light. And as long as you don't stop fighting, you will return and you will improve because you fought. Okay? So don't ever let yourself lose hope. Don't ever let yourself forget that this game is a long game and that there are always going to be cycles of up and down. And it's a matter of you persisting for long enough to see the ups, to recognize that there's going to be downs, and to have some equanimity to understand that that is just how life is. We live in a yin-yang world. It's a little bit of dark and a little bit of light. And you have to persist through the dark with the vision of the light, that is the Western religion. That's the pursuit of the light, right? They say there's really only two religions. There's setting an ideal, looking for the greatest ideal, getting the biggest thing, and then aiming for it, or becoming the smallest thing, which is like Eastern religion. That's like Buddhism. Sitting until you can focus in on the smallest thing, and the dissolution of the ego comes, right? Just as the greatness of the greatest possible vision for yourself also dissolves whatever version of you exists right now to the point where your ego no longer exists. It's all aiming at the same thing, right? And ultimately, you got to remember, we're all human. And this social media game has a lot of people thinking that a lot of people aren't human, right? Everyone's human. And you have your own unique story. And that's the piece that you got to play to. You got your own story. You've been through the trenches. And Lord knows I've been there too. And you can't compare because no one's had your upbringing, okay? No one has your mind. No one has your location, your height, weight, skin color. No one has your personality, your interests, your unique combinations of mistakes and successes. And so for you to compare yourself to anyone would be silly. So don't do that. Instead, take a moment to feel the reality that you are alive. You're at a level of consciousness right now. And that level of consciousness shifts based off of your behavior, the people you're around, and what's going on in your body. So you can change those things. Mainly it's going to come down to behavior though, right? Because what's going on in your body is going to have to do with your behavior. If you can change your diet, if you can change your consumption habits, whether that's media, or you can change your physical habits, that's exercise, that's running, that's getting outside, it's getting vitamin D, you're going to have a change in what's actually going on in your body and your mind, and you'll feel your consciousness shift. You'll feel your focus change. You'll start to realize that you're no longer focusing on the things you once did. And that's an indication that you've moved into a more ideal place. When you're in a low place, when you're in the darkness, that's when you forget about your ideals and you convince yourself that your ideals are bullshit or that you don't even want your ideals. But let me tell you, you do want your ideals. That's why they're ideals, because your life would be ideal if you had them. So when you're in the low place, don't allow yourself to be convinced that the low place is good enough for you, because it's not. And you don't want that. You want to strive, but you feel that striving is hard. And you also feel a lot of resistance and a lot of fear, especially because there's a lot of things that you don't want to address in your life. And that's completely normal. It's scary to look in the darkness. It's scary to face your mistakes. It's scary to face the people that hurt you. It's scary to face the people that you've hurt. But you know that if you don't do that, you're going to stay in that place, that low place forever. And you do not want that. Trust me, you don't really want that. No matter how much your mind says that working 5 days a week and then ordering Uber Eats 2 days a week and drinking alcohol and playing video games is what you want, I can tell you right now, there's so much better out there. You really, really don't want that ultimately. And if you do, and if you really do, that's good for you. I think that for most people, that's a trap. That's a trap. So this is me documenting my own struggle. I'll just go into my own struggle real quick. I ended this year. I started last year, the most fit I've ever been, the most consistent I've ever been. I was in great shape, feeling amazing. I've literally never felt better in my entire life. And that was 2023. End of 2023, beginning of 2024. 2024, I probably haven't felt worse than I have in a long time. I started drinking all the time. I started binge eating food. I gained over 40 pounds, not of muscle. I got out of the gym after being consistent for over a year, right? It was crazy. It was crazy. Like I really went like off the fucking deep end. And I'm in a rebuilding phase right now. I've just uninstalled video games. Like that's crazy, you know? But that being said, like I've learned to ebb and flow. So I could still be doing breath work or meditating or doing a creative endeavor, but I also have video games on my computer and I waste a shitload of time doing that as well. So whereas in the past that might not happen, now there's a little bit of that. So there's a little more flexibility as I've gone through the cycles a little more. Now, the way I went, the depth I went to was way deeper than I needed to go, and there were some reasons for that. I don't need to get into the reasons, but there were some reasons, and coming out of it, I can tell you from firsthand experience, like what I've felt is a place of being semi-convinced that I don't need to actually pursue my goals, like being kind of convinced that maybe I could just skirt by and be satisfied at this low place. And that's why I went into that tangent a little bit earlier, because that's what I've been going through. I've been battling that. I battled that. I went through a juice cleanse. I didn't want to do that shit. I have been dieting. It's fucking horrible. It's so hard. But I feel really good too. I just am finishing up this liver cleanse tonight. And again, it was hard. It was very hard. But with that said, I feel much better. Like the feeling that comes from that cleanse is much more rewarding than the feeling that comes from drinking and eating fast food. And I do enjoy drinking and eating fast food, trust me. There is a part of me that could, there's a great Bourdain quote that says there's a part of me that just wants to smoke weed, eat pizza, and watch movies all day. And I spend every day fighting that part of myself. And there is some truth to that. It's a great quote because, the spiritual endeavor, the greatest endeavors often require sacrificing a lot of comforts. And sometimes that's not easy. So anyways, that's where I've been. I've been emotional. I've been succeeding in a lot of ways too, but not convinced of my purpose, not convinced of the fire. And I'll feel little bits of it coming back. And that's how I know that I'm on the right track, because when it's going really well, the fire is consistent. It's like, instead of feeling it 10% of the time, you feel it 90% of the time. And the 10% is when you're not feeling as great, but you're still feeling, you still know that, okay, tomorrow I'll be good. Whereas when you're coming from the dark, it's probably about 90% of the time you feel kind of shitty. And then that other 10% of the time is when you're gonna be able to feel that fire. So we're getting better. I'm feeling good. This is a fun endeavor, creating these videos. I'm really loving it. So if you watch this, I know you didn't, but if you did, damn, that's pretty cool. Thanks for checking me out. I'm gonna keep doing this, and yeah, one day at a time, baby. One day at a time. Much love and peace. Love, rock and roll.